Womp, womp, womp.
Hi, I'm Amy Kasio, and I'm with my co-host Dee, and then you say...
Do you think Liz is trying to sleep upstairs and she just keeps hearing air horns? Did you already get one? I was looking for one. I just don't feel like Curb Your Enthusiasm fans are the kind of people who like trap music or air horns, but we're doing it ironically. But, you know, if you do something so many times ironically, it just turns into something that you do. Like making fun of my mom, you know, like making fun of the way she's like, God damn it. Well, that turned into something that I do. I do that now. So it's like, I don't want to start doing wah, wah, wah all the time. But it's like, it's going to happen. I'm going to be that person. I'm going to walk into the party and trap your enthusiasm. I did have somebody once tell me that I was a big question mark. They could not figure me out, so kind of live by that.
It's like late night talk with Dee.
The Dee Show.
You just smoke and you just talk about your feelings.
Come
or like a stream of consciousness.
All about me.
Hi, I'm Amy Kasio, and I'm with my co-host Dee, and we are here to talk about every episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm, the comedy show about a rich, white, straight man who challenges social customs.
Or an entitled boomer who rebels against social norms. All right, so before we get started, Casio, what are you puffing on tonight?
I have a strain that is called something huckleberry. I can't read the label. The label is all smushed up, so all I can read is like huckleberry. So that's my strain tonight.
Larry and Cheryl spend quality time with new celebrity friends Ted Danson and Mary Steenburgen. Larry's shoes are stolen at the bowling alley, and Larry confronts the person who took them. Larry also goes on a shopping trip with Mary and her mother.
Wow.
All right, so I don't know if that's how I'm going to read all the plot summaries, but that's how you got it tonight. So, from Reddit, a comment about this episode is, this is a weird episode. You can tell it's an early one because they didn't get their shtick yet. I kind of agree. You see where they're going here, but it gets, you know, if they would have done this at a later time, later season, it probably would have been a little bit funnier, but it's, you know, it's not a bad episode. I don't mind it. Top YouTuber comment for this episode is, watching this show gives me anxiety. I believe my wife has said the same thing, so.
Well, I just want to comment that Mary Steenburgen is who I would like to be my cougar wife.
All right, so in this first scene, we open at a bowling alley. Middle-aged people bowling.
Wow!
Ted Danson with dark hair, still weird for me to watch after watching The Good Place and seeing him in that one.
Bored to Death?
Bored to Death, yes. And also on later seasons of this show. It's just strange. There was a good top comment on YouTube about that, but it was a little mean, so I'm not going to say it here. So they're bowling. They're out with Ted and Mary. He's so tall. He's sitting there with his long-ass legs coming out. So basically, this scene is they're bowling, and Ted asks Larry and Cheryl if they want to go to a Paul Simon concert this weekend.
Hey,
We have a great idea.
this weekend we're gonna go listen to Paul Simon. We have the luxury box. Come join us. It's fun.
It's going to be a
Really,
great
it'd be
concert.
fun.
Really?
Give me my
like that?
pen.
Oh, my God.
We'll think
Yeah,
about
no,
it.
that sounds great.
No, don't. We'll think about it. I don't know if I can spend another evening with these people. They're so tall.
Paying you money, though.
That's a 20.
I owe you $10.
You owe me
$10.
10
Change, okay.
Larry laughs and says he'll think about it. I don't know if I can handle another night out with you guys, kind of a thing. And then that's kind of the end of the bowling, so we didn't get subjected to too much of that. According to IMDb, there is a factual error in the record keeping, the score keeping, if you will, for the bowling game. Apparently, Larry is told all he needs is a spare to win. But when the scorecard is shown, based on the math that I'm not going to read to you here, he would not have been able to win. So, even it, for all of those nerds out there, it is not a correct game.
So, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you like bowling?
I love bowling. It's fun, but I'm not good at it. I used to have a bowling ball until. Here's a PSA. If you own a bowling ball, don't leave it in your car if you live in the Midwest year round, because the heat expansion and the cold, the contrast, the expansion, whatever you want to say, it cracked my ball and broke my heart at the same time. It was a beautiful ball.
Did it crack all the way in half? Could you see inside?
You could see inside.
So what does it look like inside?
It looks like the ball, just not as glossy.
Well, that was
I mean,
disappointing.
it didn't crack all the way down, so I don't know if there's something in the middle. It cracked like several inches deep. Several inches
like a Cadbury
deep.
egg, a nice gooey center coming out.
Wow. No. All right. So, anyways, then they're done with the game. They go to the counter where you pick up your shoes. Now, notice this part. Cheryl picks up some black clogs. They're huge, by the way. They look gigantic, but she gets some black clogs. Keep that in mind.
Okay.
Then the guy behind the counter gives Larry some sneakers.
Dirty, disgusting sneakers.
They're pretty gross.
Those aren't mine.
No, they gotta be.
They're not my shoes.
Larry's like, those aren't mine. I had brown shoes. So this goes on for several minutes in a very Curb Your Enthusiasm way.
They were right next to yours. I put them up there by mistake. Guy took them.
Oh my gosh.
Well, what about his shoes? Why don't you wear his shoes? Are these his shoes?
Hey, want to take those?
Thank you.
Here's what to do.
Thanks for
Here,
helping
hold
out.
on. No.
And then he's like, how could somebody take someone's shoes?
What kind of guy would take somebody else's shoes?
And so the guy at the bowling alley gets Larry's number for when if the shoes show up. And Larry walks out in his socks.
Who would take somebody else's shoes?
That's what
And
he
those
said.
shoes, those brown shoes, though.
Oh, they're horrible. They look orthopedic, you know.
Like,
So
they're not worth taking.
there's a continuity error in this scene where Cheryl gets black shoes after returning, getting them at the return, but is seen leaving the bowling alley with, check this out, white shoes. So someone fucked up.
All right, cut to Larry and Cheryl at home, and they are talking about the Paul Simon concert.
Well,
I must have made quite an impression tonight to get that
Well,
Paul
you're-
Simon
you're
invitation.
both.
Him and Cheryl are both gushing about what a cute couple Ted and Mary are.
Wow.
They're so cute.
I know. What a great couple,
And
huh?
so fun.
Yeah. I wonder if they thought that we were a good couple.
And they're talking about Ted and Mary and how fun they are. And Larry clearly has a crush on Mary, as many of us do.
She's really great.
Yeah.
I really love her. She's terrific.
She was really
Yeah.
great.
And he's got this afterglow, and he's just staring at the ground, smiling.
She's really terrific, though.
Yeah, she is.
What a beautiful person. I mean, not only on the outside, but she really has an inner beauty, don't you think? And it just kind of radiates.
And he's like, Ted, I could take him or leave him. And Cheryl's like, really? And he's like,
He's a little strange.
Why?
he basically doesn't like Ted because he's a positive person, and Larry's like the opposite of that.
Heaven. Everything's heaven with him.
The gum, he had a piece of gum. Oh, this is heaven. Had a taste of chocolate bar. Oh, I'm in heaven. The parking space is heaven. It's all heaven.
Well, he's a very happy guy.
Yeah, his overuse of the word heaven as a descriptive word. So basically, Larry has a crush on Mary, and he won't shut up about it, and he just keeps pushing, and it makes me laugh. And Cheryl starts off, in conversation with Larry, and then the further he goes with it, she downgrades from, like, conversation to, like, a question here or there to, like, to, like, silence.
The shame is that, like, I could never be friends with her,
Why couldn't you be friends with
Well, because she's a woman. She's married. I'm a married man. I'd love to, just have a cup of coffee with her or something. But you can never
Right.
do that because, well, society frowns on relationships, between men and women like that.
Well, don't let me stop you.
No,
I mean,
I'm just saying. So, if we're going to be making friends with them, I just assume be friends with her, and you could be friends with him, and you could get the personal hygiene questions, okay?
I just have to say that the rules between, like, a married man and woman cannot be friends because of society is that in the gay world, those rules do not apply in any way, or else nobody would have any friends.
I don't think it's so much because of society. I think it's because people's or self-esteem can't handle it, man. Okay, next scene is it's the next morning. Ring, 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 phone call. Larry answers. It's Mary on the other line, which Larry's very excited about. He describes to her how bowling with them was heaven. I assume on the other line, Mary says, "Oh, Ted says that," because Larry's like, "Oh, does he? Huh."
Yeah.
And he's like, "What are you up for today?" And she probably says shopping because Larry invites himself out saying he needs some more sweaters or something. So he just invited himself out to shopping at Barney's with Mary.
Mm-hmm. He needs a new sweater.
He needs a lot of things.
So next up, Larry is at Barney's meeting up with Mary, who is with her mother, who is played by Anne Haney. Do you know how to say her name?
Well, I'm from Cleveland, so I would have said Hanny.
So it's played by Anne Haney or Haney, who actually ended up dying 2 years later. But she looked really familiar to me. Does she look familiar to you?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to figure it out, and she was in Mrs. Doubtfire, which I only saw for the first time 3 years ago. But she was also in the Psycho remake. She was in an episode of Designing Women, an episode of The Golden Girls, an episode of Cheers. But mainly, of course, it would be the Mrs. Doubtfire thing. She just seems like a sweet old lady to me, which I don't really ever say about old ladies, ever.
No, you do not. You do not say things like that.
So Mary shows Larry her new jacket that she got, and he loves it. And he begins.
She didn't show it to him. He used it as a reason to touch her.
So,
This is a nice item you got here.
I got this at Barney's. I got this last week. I bet they still have this. This is a men's jacket.
Really?
Yeah, I love buying men's jackets.
This is a very nice item.
I know,
This
this-
thing. Look, it's
this
a
one
half
looks so-
jacket, half shirt.
I
You don't
know,
even know what
Nancy.
it is.
Couldn't help but over here. I happen to have one right
Boy,
here.
you are good.
They are good
I
at
bet you're
Barney's.
42.
See,
Exactly what this
Barney's
is.
salespeople. They're practically psychic.
You're good.
Yeah?
You are very good.
I bet he didn't give two rats' asses or whatever about that shirt, and he was just using it as an excuse to touch her because he did it a lot. He did it several times. Did you notice that she touched his arm when he first got there? So, yeah, there was a lot of touching in this scene, and him touching the fabric of the shirt was just an excuse. And so then the sales lady showed up with it right there. She's good. The sales lady's good. She overheard a conversation, swooped in with what she thought it was his size, and so he had to buy it because he just said he loved it so much.
And now they're twins.
Twins.
And they're okay with that. It's a half jacket, a half shirt. I don't really know what that means.
So I think it's funny how Larry, the mom, and Mary are walking out of the mall like best friends, like with bags in tow, and they're all chit-chatting and so happy. And they pass by the shoe section of Barney's, and Larry is like, "Oh, shoes. I should replace those brown shoes I lost at the bowling alley. Those god-awful shoes."
The campers.
So
We'll find out they are campers.
Campers. So the salesman, who is
From Grace and Frankie. But go on.
He's in everything. He's in Will and Grace. He's in Web Therapy with Lisa Kudrow. Any gay role for any role for a quirky gay man, he's in it. I like him. He's weird. He says they only have a 9 in stock, but that he can order Larry's size. He just needs some information. Follow me to the back.
It all seemed very serious.
Very serious.
All right, so now we're at lunch with Mary and her mother and Larry, and they're talking about how good of a time they had.
Oh, yes. He's being charming as a MF.
Charming AF.
Yes.
And yeah, he's going on doing that until Mary's mother says that she should have married Larry.
Well,
Because he shops and he
You're
cooks.
skipping his amazing speech about how he loves to shop and he loves to cook and he'll make an excellent breakfast.
I love to shop. You know what else?
What?
Cook. I shop and I cook.
Don't cook, Larry.
I'm the double header.
Mary, you should have married this man.
Let me tell you something. Nothing gives me more pleasure than cracking an egg. Nothing.
He's basically making eggs into sexual innuendo, and he looks to the mother and says,
I'll make you some omelets. I'll flip you out. I will flip you out.
You cook?
I'll flip them. I'll flip you out. I'll flip you out, meaning like he'll flip your egg. Like, legitimately.
I was wondering what that meant, and I just ignored it every time. Flip you out. Never heard that before. I'll flip you all the way out.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Well, by the end of it, Mary calls him sexy. And
the mother is like, "What?"
Oh, yeah.
That is so sexy.
Mary?
Well, I'm sorry. We're friends. I can say that.
Look at that. No big deal.
And she's like, I can say that, Mom, because we're friends. Okay.
yeah, so could we talk about that for a minute? Do friends call each other sexy?
I don't think so. I mean, like, okay, my one friend, Molly, she's a straight girl, so, I would say something like, look at that ass today, girl, or something, but I would never be like, you sexy girl. I don't know. Sometimes if your friend is wearing
sexy girl.
a pair of like leggings or something that are really working for her, you should let her know, girl.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just imagining some of my friends and just having them come over and hang out on the couch or watching something. It's just like, hey, you're really sexy.
With your mom there. Like, what the fuck? I don't even want to hold hands with my boyfriend or girlfriend in front of my mom. I don't know why I said it like that.
You want to say that again? I have questions. Your boyfriend?
I mean, I've had boyfriends, so that
But how recent was that? You talk like it's a recent thing.
And I'm not married.
Like 20 years ago.
Shut the fuck up. That's legitimate. I'm 36 now. You can legitimately say that. I don't.
My last boyfriend was 2 decades ago, as I inhale on a cigarette and cough. But yeah, calling your friends sexy, huh? Oh, the water. We have to talk about the water.
Warning. This is the moment it all goes wrong for Larry. Everything he's worked for till this moment has been ruined. All the suave, charismatic bullshit is out the door because he makes a pube-choking sound when he drinks the mom's water accidentally.
Oh, no, Larry, honey, that's my water.
Excuse me.
And he keeps making the sound. And he continues to be a drama queen about it. While,
As the mother and
they're
Mary
just looking
are just
down.
Clearly the mother is offended.
Yeah.
So Larry arrives home with all kinds of shopping bags on his arms, and Cheryl sees this, and she gives him a really hard time about it because she says that he never goes shopping with her.
I've never seen you with shopping bags before. What made you decide to go shopping?
He tells her that he went with Mary, and she acts like it's very weird that he went, even though she did say it's okay for them to hang out the night before.
I don't know. I was in the kitchen this morning reading the paper, and Mary called, and she said she was going to Barney's, and I thought, what the hell? I needed some stuff, so I met her over there.
You just went shopping with Mary.
She did say.
She did, but she had a tone. She had a tone that most people pick up on as, you're making a mistake, but do what you want. There was a tone.
Well, Larry's a little dense.
Well, he doesn't get those social cues, or he ignores them. I haven't decided. She's dumbfounded that he's got bags with him. She's like, he was so casual about Mary called and so I met up with her, and Cheryl just doing the face the whole time, the what the fuck face.
She calls it bizarre.
That's bizarre, don't you think?
Yeah, it's bizarre that you would go shopping with her because you never go shopping with me. Larry's like, yeah, all right, well, let's go shopping. I mean, I need things. I need underwear and socks. I need a belt. I could use a belt. And
Yes, I do. I could use some socks and underwear, and I still stuff. A belt, I gotta buy a belt.
Wow.
she's just like, seriously? And then Larry, in the middle of that, drops the bomb that Mary's mom was there. And Cheryl was like, her mom was there? She was just like dead. She just started going, uh-huh, doing her thing at him talking.
I felt like he threw that in there to make it seem like it was safer or not a big deal, to like they had a chaperone. So
Yeah, I don't know why it makes it worse that her mom was there. I think it also makes it better. But maybe
Yeah.
because he doesn't like to do he would never go shopping with Cheryl and her mom, like ever, in a million years.
maybe he was just excited. Maybe he really liked her. I don't know. But anyway, it escalates into an argument, and she's very Cheryl during this argument. So much Cheryl that we have decided we're going to make a Cheryl soundboard. And one row is just going to be all the different Larrys.
Yes. Now hiring for app developers. You'll get paid in Rice Krispie treats. All right, so in the middle of Cheryl and ahhing, the doorbell interrupts their fight. And who is it? It's Ted Danson holding a Barney's bag. Says he's switched, Mary and Larry switched bags. And for some reason, the other bag is in Larry's trunk, since apparently he can only carry one light item at a time. They go through the doorway.
Well, Cheryl is all up in their business, too.
Yeah.
She comes out, she's sticking her nose in all of it right next to them.
Yeah, she was in the
At the
doorway,
doorway.
answering the door with Larry. Ted calls out Larry on wearing the same shirt as his wife.
Right, that's a nice jacket. Mary's got the same one.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Matter of fact, I think she wore it today. Ah.
I didn't even notice that.
Larry acts like he has no clue what he's talking about. And Ted's like, I think she wore it today. And he's like, huh? What? Never heard of it. He has no reason to lie about it. Why? Why does he do it?
I don't know. But I mean, imagine Cheryl's reaction. So she called me sexy, and now we're twins. We have the same outfit. And her mom said that we should be married.
She doesn't know she called him sexy.
But imagine if she did.
Larry!
I think it would be a divorce right there.
So him and Ted go to the car and get the bag. While they're in the trunk, they're talking, and then, they start walking back to the house. Ted kind of diplomatically questions Larry about going shopping with his wife and says, I kind of figured you for more of a sports guy. And Larry's like, yeah, well, I guess you figured wrong. And he's like, hey, but I'd like to go to a ball game sometime. And Ted seems like kind of annoyed, but he's also like, okay, yeah, I'd like that actually. And then they start walking back. Ted goes towards his car. Larry goes towards the house. And then he goes, hey.
See ya.
Okay. Oh, Paul Simon.
Right. Hey, you know what? Maybe you should call Mary first. Figure out what to wear.
Coordinate outfits with Mary first or whatever he said.
Yeah.
So the next scene basically sums down to the bowling alley guy called. Secretary gave Larry the message, then we go to the bowling alley. Up to the counter, and the bowling alley guy called Larry, not because he had the shoes, but because the guy who took the shoes is there wearing them. That is such a pussy move. So Larry goes up to confront the guy. He's like, does he seem like a tough guy? And he's like, I don't know. I don't think so. So he goes up to confront the guy.
Yeah, what's weird is that you would take shoes that don't belong to you and put them on. That's weird.
Or even weirder, it's like you left without even your shoes.
That's not that weird. I had nothing else to wear.
How do you argue with somebody like that? I mean, the dude is just escaping blame and just... He's like out of this world, man. He's like, that's so weird. Like, instead of being like, yeah, my bad. Here's your shoes back. I'm embarrassed. This is embarrassing. He's like, they're so comfortable.
Wow. They're comfortable shoes.
Yeah, I know they are.
He gave to me. I mean, I don't know what he was thinking.
He's a nut.
Like he's on acid and his mouth is hanging open.
It's great. I love this. I love this whole scene. It's the Curb Your Enthusiasm way.
So if they gave you the wrong shoes at the bowling alley, what would you do? What if they were shoes you really liked?
No, I would get my shoes back. Why would no?
Just checking.
I don't want shoes formed to somebody else's foot pattern, walking stride, whatever.
So we are now at the shoe repair shop where Larry is picking up his shoes because he had them fumigated. And then him and Jeff are walking down the street afterwards, and they just happen to run into the shoe salesman from the other day that Larry ordered the shoes from. And the guy notices that Larry is wearing the shoes that he ordered, and he acts very offended, and he acts like he's crushed. He takes it very personal. He's saying, "I waived the deposit. I thought you had an honest face." And this, of course, escalates, so they start arguing.
You asked me to waive the deposit, and I did that for you. You look like an honest person, and I trusted your
Well, I
face.
am an honest person.
Okay, this is
He's an honest
this
face,
does not
so you're
concern
very
you.
honest. You're honest.
And then it eventually leads to Larry offering to just go ahead and pay the guy's commission. And now this makes it worse, because now the guy's like, "I'm not a shoe whore. I don't want your money."
How much is the commission? I'll pay the commission, okay?
That is so insulting.
Why is that insulting?
How dare you?
That's
I'm
not how
like
dare
out
you.
here-
What do you mean dare? I'm not dare.
I
How
am
dare?
not a
That's not a
shoe
dare.
whore.
I didn't accuse you of being a shoe whore.
And it just keeps going and going and until the guy walks away.
Okay, so it's Friday night. It's 4:30 p.m. They've not heard from Ted nor Mary. And Cheryl's like, maybe we should call them. And Larry's like, we can't call them. They deliberately are not calling us, so we can't call them.
At least lie to us.
Right. Something.
You know, call us and lie.
Yeah.
Don't let us sit here like schmucks.
Yeah.
And he's very angry about it, and he says that he feels very disrespected. Neither of them understand why they're uninvited.
A lie is a gesture. It's a courtesy. It's a little respect. This is very disrespectful.
So they sit there a couple, they're there sitting in silence, contemplating, and Cheryl says,
I mean, did we do something to offend them?
And by we, she means Larry.
Larry does his little silent contemplation, and the light bulb goes off, and here's his attempt to downplay an event.
After Barney's the other day, we went out to lunch.
Right.
And I took a sip from a glass of water.
Uh-huh.
And her mother said to me, "That's my glass." Mm-hmm. And I went, "Ugh!" Like that.
He didn't really give her the full effect of the gagging and the relentless sounds and coughing. But she gets it. She knows. She already knows. And then she just sits there in silence forever and then releases one of the best Larrys yet.
Larry, I can't believe you're even acting like you don't know why we're not invited.
Think of it.
Unbelievable.
Like, she's like, you fucking idiot. You expected we were going to still go after you did that? So they're just sitting angrily on the couch. It seems like it's hours later by the time, the change in atmosphere or whatever, the change in ambience in the room. They now have a boom box with a Paul Simon CD playing. And
Still crazy after all these years.
Yes.
Which I
Larry-
have to say, if you cut to 2 minutes in that song, you'll have a great sax solo.
All right. Cut to 2 minutes, folks. If you want to be blown away with some sexy sax vibes. So, Larry's getting into it. He starts singing along. And Cheryl's like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. You ruined my night. You done pissed me off. I'm staying at home on a Friday night, and you're sitting over there in your ugly, white, dirty-ass socks, singing along to Paul Simon on your boombox, you tone-deaf-ass motherfucker. So she walks out of the room, and we're left to Larry crooning along with Paul.
What do you think it looked like to have Larry courting Cheryl? How did she ever fall for him?
Funny guys, girls like funny guys, and he's rich, so there you go.
So Larry is back at Barney's, and he is returning the jacket because he says there are zipper problems. And off to the side, we have the shoe salesman who sees this, and he perks his head up as high as possible and watches from across the room. And then he runs over to the cash register and rejects the return. He says, "No, you can't. No, this is not okay. You're mess." What did he say? He's like, "You already messed with me once."
He's like, "I know your game."
I know your little game, and I'm not playing it.
It's no game. What do you mean a game? I haven't worn this. Listen, I only wore this in the store the day I bought it.
I did a favor for you, and you messed me over once, and I'm not going to let it happen
Messed you over? What did I mess you over? I don't know what you're talking about. Mess you over.
You're so innocent.
You got me like a diabolical. I'm not diabolical. What do you think? I'm diabolical?
Yap. I don't want to hear about it, okay? Here's the thing. I did a favor for you, and you walked over me.
But I don't think that he originally said it was a zipper problem at first. He was just returning it. He didn't say zipper problem until the lady showed up. I just think that he genuinely didn't want it. He only bought it because of what he said to Mary and felt like he had to buy it. So he was returning it. I don't know the actor's name, the guy who's in everything, the gay, quirky guy who's in everything.
Tom Beagley?
Well, Tom, so that guy, he thinks Larry is up to some kind of scheme because he didn't go through with the order of the shoes, and now he's trying to return the shirt. He thinks he's in some kind of good girl scheme or something, and that he's onto it. So he's like, does he even have the authority to reject that return?
I don't know. It doesn't seem like it. He takes it very personal, his customers.
He's very serious about his shoes.
And keeping that haircut for 2 decades. But go on.
So in the, interrupting that fight, Mary's mom, which I never bothered to learn the name of, so we'll just call her Mrs.
They don't give the name, just so you know.
Mrs.
It's Mary's mother.
Or whatever.
Steenburgen?
Yeah. Okay, so she's like, "Oh, Larry." And he's like, "Oh, hey." Kind of right off the bat, like, "Let me ask you something. Did you go to that Paul Simon show?" And she's like, "Oh, yeah, I was there." And he's like, "Oh, did anybody mention me?" And she's like, "Oh, bless your heart. Nobody mentioned you," basically.
Nobody mentioned you at all.
With her, like, southern accent. And they're talking, and then Larry notices that Mary's there as well. So then, to get Mary's attention, he, like, reintroduces himself to the mom, like, all excitedly.
Mrs. Steenburgen!
And he kisses her.
And, like, rubs her hair in a weird way. And then,
a lot. For a long time. He lingers
it's like he
for a
pet
long
her
time.
like she was a cat.
He's fluffing it up, sticking his fingers in the hair and pushing it up. and then Mary comes around the corner, and so Larry stops fluffing up the hair, and it's almost like the mom is gonna faint. She's like, "Oh my," and like putting her hair back into place, putting her hand on her heart. Like, putting her shoulders up.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, she got a little flustered at the end there, which is weird. So he sees Mary, and then they hug.
Yep.
Oh, Mary!
Larry!
Hey!
How weird. How weird to run into you at Barney's again.
I can't believe it.
And she again mentions how great that shirt looks on him, because she thought, he's trying to return it, and he's like,
"Oh, no, are you returning this shirt?" And that's when his lie about it having a zipper problem comes up. She's like, "Oh, good, because it looks so good on you." And he's like, yeah, I like this shirt.
And that's when he asks her about the concert, right? And, "Why didn't you call me?" And she explains the concert was the next night, not last night.
Yeah, she's like, "We had tickets for Friday and Sunday. We went Friday, and you guys are coming on Sunday with us." And, but fuck her. It's Saturday, I'm assuming in the afternoon. And they still haven't given Cheryl or Larry the details on that. I mean, you need to know these things. You can't just be sitting around wondering. You need to know, am I driving? Are you picking me up? What time is the opener? Like, what, like what
Are
time
we having dinner?
Yeah, like what the fuck? It's rude. So Larry then for some reason makes sure that Mary's mom is going to come. For some reason he really wants the mom to come, and she's like, okay. So that's, I don't know, maybe as a buffer for Cheryl, maybe he thinks it'll be less awkward.
Yeah.
We're at the luxury box. The luxury box at the Sunday night showing of the 3-day Paul Simon tour. It's empty, except for Mary's mom. Apparently, Hillary and Bill Clinton are friends with Ted and Mary, and they flew in, as if you wouldn't know that, way ahead of time with the Secret Service and all that stuff. You don't just fly in.
Yeah.
So anyways, apparently also Cheryl's cousins flew in. That's what Larry says, at least, when questioned where is Cheryl.
So is that true?
Yeah.
Did Cheryl just get so sick of all of this that she just said she couldn't go, and then Larry went alone? Or
how often do people fly in unannounced?
Apparently twice in one night in LA.
Yeah, and including
the president.
Former presidents.
So that's his night now, you know? I mean, it looks like a sad, sad concert.
Well, it can't be that exciting, 'cause Grandma fell asleep on him, on his shoulder, and he looks grumpy AF. And it's the same song he was singing to himself just a couple nights before.
Yeah.
I hope he's thinking about his decisions.
He's just looking at the ground, disgusted, something. And we fade out. And that's the end of that episode. It's an okay episode. It's not like I think I said it last episode, is that the show is going to become more over the top as we get, especially this next episode. Once we get to Porto Gill, it's like they ramp up the intensity of the situations and the fights a little bit.
Yeah, the plot lines get more sophisticated and complicated and webbed. This one's more straightforward. He only really fucked up a little bit a couple of times, rather than it being a series of events strung together.
I suppose it's fun to see some woman making Larry all like... I feel like we don't ever see him like that again. Like, he never looks like he has a crush on someone like that. It's a special
Maybe
relationship.
In real life, he has like good chemistry with that chick, and so
Mary
on screen,
Steenburgen.
it was like weird to see him being comfortable.
I would like for her to cougar me.
Wow.
Mary Steenburgen.
Can you give me a more descriptive adjective of what cougaring you is?
She'll just be my older girlfriend. Much, much older girlfriend.
Hey now.
Well, at least 20 years, maybe 25 years.
Going that Sarah Paulson route, huh? She knows what's up.
Yes, totally. Sarah Paulson. What's her name?
I know.
Sarah Paulson and Holland Taylor. Those are my relationship goals here.
Now, do
Amy
you just want that
Kasio.
as like an option, or do you want like exclusivity? Like, do you want like a whole wheelhouse, one for every flavor of the month or whatever?
Of cougars?
Of just your taste. Maybe you don't want to date only cougars.
I don't know. I haven't thought that far in advance.
You only have so many years to date cougars until you are a cougar, by the way.
Oh, man. That's right. I did not even think about that. And
if you have like some kind of prophecies to fulfill, then you need to get a jump start. Because, girl, as soon as those gray pubes start coming in, you no longer qualify for cougar bait.
I mean, are you sure about that? what if you're like 33 and that's happened?
You're long past that. Oh,
I'm just saying, what if that started at 33?
Okay, but
that's not past
okay. So you're
cougars.
started, but you don't have long to fulfill
the prophecy
of
of
to
having a cougar
cougarize yourself.
girlfriend. Cougarize. Oh
You
my
better
god.
cougarize.
Cougarize yourself. Trap your enthusiasm.
What, what?
Music.
Boom,
Hi.
boom, boom. Oh.
God.
Do you hear that? I sound like that fucking dog. The one dog that's like, whoa, oh, I guess I'll just do this thing. And then he's like, are those two different dogs?
I don't know.
I
just think of like a red dog from the 80s that is doing like evil things.
Droopy? I think I'm thinking of two different cartoon characters put together, but I had a big oversized t-shirt that was used as a nightgown in the 90s. It was sold and marketed as a nightgown, but it was just a giant t-shirt and it said, Droop, there it is, with a picture of the Droopy cartoon character. And I have a picture of me playing a board game with my friend wearing it at a sleepover. And so, but I do think that the raspy laughing dog is a totally different character. Anywho.
Laughing 80s dog. Like, I've been trying to find it forever and I haven't been able to. See, maybe this whole time I've been seeing a different dog but hearing the right dog. So I found this clip on YouTube. And it does like this shoulder thing. Hi, I'm Amy Kasio. All right.
Amy Kasio, smoking on that cushy, yo.
Hi, I'm Amy Kasio, and I'm with my co-host. You're supposed to say your name.
Are you really going to say Cuscio? You got me all
No.
strung out over that.
No. It was just supposed to be like an outtake.
Oh.
But you didn't cooperate. Hi, I'm Amy Kasio, and I'm with my co-host Dee, and we are here to talk about every episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm, the comedy show about a rich, white, straight man who challenges social customs.
Or an entitled boomer who rebels against social norms.
And now I'm going to say it again, but I'm going to leave it off to you to say we're here to talk about every episode.
I don't care. It's just, can we just go?
Hi, I'm Amy Kasio, and I'm with my co-host
We just
Dee,
did this.
And we are here to talk about...
No, it's fine. I'm fine with the first way.
But I was laughing at the end. But okay, I'll do it again. I'm going to read the first thing myself.
Oh my God.
Hi, I'm Amy Kasio, and I'm with my co-host Dee, and we are here to talk about every episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm, the comedy show about a rich white straight man who challenges social customs. And...
You did it exactly the same. It's exactly the same.
I laughed at the same part.
Just go to the next part. I'll just take the first one. I said an entitled boomer who rebels against social norms.
Hi, I'm Amy Kasio, and I'm with my co-host Dee.
Oh my God.
And then, and then you say the rest. Well,
why can't
we're
you just
sharing
pick up from a later point? We've already done this.
Okay, so how do I introduce the strange
you're on the
situation?
spectrum. You just keep redoing it. I don't know. Can you just casually bring it up?
And what's straight? And what strain are you smoking tonight?
Dude, you're so fucking strung out. Breathe.
Stop sounding like that dog.
I'm crying.
How do I question the strain? How do we like
All right,
segue into
Casio.
that?
All right. So how you doing tonight? And what strain are you puffing on over there with that PAX?
I don't know.
Seriously, we'll just say your favorite strain then.
No.
You can find us at Instagram at Larry Curb Podcast, Twitter at Larry Curbcast, Facebook Larry Curb Podcast, and we're on YouTube, but we don't have a URL, so just search for us if you really want to find us there. Let's see here. My name is DMC Squared on Instagram. Kasio is Amy Kasio, and we're on pretty much every streaming podcast app that there is. So see you next week.